Like for my grandmother riding with her 4 kids on April 3rd, 1919.
a brief history of the East Broad Top Railroad. East Broad Top Railroad was chartered in 1856, but construction began in 1872. Just 3 years later, the main line stretched 33 miles from its mainline connection with the Pennsylvania Railroad in Mount Newman to the coal-rich Broad Top Mountains in southern Huntington County. Where you boarded today, Rocco Furnace, served as the railroad's local headquarters and home to the impressive shops complex. The railroad was primarily built to haul raw materials for the Rock Hill Iron Furnace, a large blast furnace that produced pig iron. Navigating mountainous terrain like the kind found in central Pennsylvania was challenging for railroads, so the East Broad Top was built as a narrow gauge railroad, with the rails spaced only 3 feet apart, making it more cost effective and allowing for sharper turns. Although narrow gauge lines were common in the late 19th century, today the East Broad Top is the last original narrow gauge railroad in operation east of Colorado, and one of only a handful that remain in operation around the country. After the iron furnace closed in 1908, the EBT focused on transporting coal, modernizing operations with new steam locomotives, over 300 custom-built steel freight cars, and innovative facilities like a coal washing plant in Mount Union, and the use of a crane to move standard gauge cars over the line on narrow gauge trucks. Despite these efforts prolonging the railroad's life through World War I, the Great Depression, and World War II, the last freight train ran in April of 1956. Thankfully, the Kowalczyk Salvage Company, which had purchased the railroad, chose to preserve it rather than scrap it. Excursion service began in 1960, although only 4.5 miles of the original main line was restored for train runs. This is the route you are traveling today. By 2011, however, rising costs forced the railroad to close again. In 2020, a new nonprofit organization stepped in to revive the railroad, restoring the track, the equipment, the shop buildings, and preserving the archives. Today, the EBT Foundation continues the proud tradition of operating East Broad Top as a window into the past, preserving its rich legacy for future generations. We're thrilled to have you along for the ride. The steam locomotive pulling our train today is number 16, built in 1916 by Baldwin Locomotive Works in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It's one of 6 original steam engines still residing here, all built for the EBT between 1911 and 1920. Number 16 has the 282 Mikado wheel arrangement. All 6 engines on the property are 282 Mikado type locomotives, meaning that they have 2 pilot wheels guiding the engine, 8 drive wheels that power the locomotive, and 2 trailing wheels supporting the weight of the firebox and cab. At the time, this wheel arrangement was revolutionary for narrow gauge steam locomotives, as it allowed a larger boiler to sit on a slim 3-foot wheelbase, allowing the engine to generate more steam and make it more powerful. 4 of the 6 engines operated during the Kowalczyk's tourist era operation between 1960 and 2011. Number 16 and number 18 remained out of service. When the EBT Foundation acquired the railroad, all 6 were evaluated to see which was the best candidate for restoration. Number 16 was chosen, and after significant restoration work, the engine returned to service in 2023, marking its first run in 67 years. Today, you'll get to experience this remarkable piece of history in action. You have an engineer and a fireman in front of the cab. The fireman's job is to provide the steam used by the engineer to pull the train. The firemen will hand shovel the coal today. That coal burns in the firebox, and that fire boils the water around it until it turns to steam. That steam then rises to the top of the boiler and pressurizes to 180 pounds per square inch. The engineer uses the throttle to allow the steam to push the pistons back and forth, which are connected to rods on the drive wheels, and that moves the train. We're now arriving at Colgate Grove, and this is the turnaround point for our journey. This location became a picnic area in the 1960s when the Kowalczyk family reopened the EBT for excursions. It was originally just one leg of the Y, an industrial spur that traveled up the hill to a clay pit at the base of Sandy Ridge. At this point, we'll be turning the train completely around on a Y, spelled W-Y-E. It's a maneuver similar to a three-point turn in a car. We'll pull the entire train past the first leg of the Y. A member of our crew will get off and line the switch, allowing us to back up. You'll hear the engine work a little bit harder as it shoves our train up a steep 4% grade. We'll go up 4 feet for every 100 feet traveled. When we stop on the tail of the Y, our engine crew will line another switch and we'll pull forward onto the south leg of the Y. Once we stop again on the platform, our train crews will allow any passengers staying at Colgate Grove to disembark for a 2-hour picnic layover. If you plan to remain here, please wait until the step boxes are down before exiting the train and be sure to take all personal belongings with you. As this is the last train of the day, we will not be leaving anyone at Colgate Grove. Please stay seated once we complete our move around the Y and the number of stops that we make, and then we'll be on our way shortly. Once we depart Colgate Grove for Rockville Furnace, we'll pause the narration so you can enjoy the scenery of the beautiful Ogwick Valley and the sights and sounds of steam power in action. Our crew will be making their way through the train, so feel free to stop us and ask any questions.
Oh my God. You know, you see where there's a veteran. But it must be around. I don't know. Maybe
They're getting pretty old.
oh yeah. Last thing, we're gonna have to start reenacting Vietnam here. Right?
We're gonna,
Have to start reenacting Korea and Vietnam.
yeah,
Nobody does that.
yeah, I guess
Everybody wants to reenact World War II.
everybody thinks of them as being young, but
Yeah.
one of our friends who was in Vietnam, he turned 80 this year.
Right.
Tomorrow.
Mhm.
Yeah. We don't have to do this time. I like to about making sure I get all here.
Oh, if you want to be on this coach. I would talk to Andrew at the ticket office when we get back. And if he's not there, then check with him tomorrow.
Make it easy for me.
Right, right. I just don't know what the office schedule is today. I presume he'll be there when we get back.
I think it's tomorrow. It's Friday.
What's the other one? The day starts at 6. Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, but still, the day starts at 6, and that's for the tours.
Yeah.
That's not the crew time. So, yeah. But I keep doing it. Just not saying that.
Yeah, I was there. He was hoping he could get down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is interesting down there.
I've seen like some pictures, whatever people post on the Friends page, but
We took Cameron to the museum. It's nice and handicapped
the
accessible.
museum's good. Yeah, it's wonderful. The only thing isn't is the library, which is upstairs. But then again, I don't know if that's something we want to try to digitize, if somebody wanted to take that on as like a student project.
Yeah, it might be a good
Like,
idea.
and
We
whoever
could
around, I mean,
research it.
does library or something, so
Uh-huh.
other police stations or whatever, something like that. I think would be a pretty neat project.
I never realized that big building down in Robertsdale was some kind of headquarters for
Which one? The big building.
the one the post office is behind, or
What the post office is in now, that one?
maybe that's it. Yeah.
No, where it is now,
Yeah.
like that building. That was another company building. And if I remember correctly, what we think is that was like the engineering office. Because there's some really big table, there's at least one really big table upstairs. I'm assuming the second floor? Okay.
I don't know. They were telling us when we were there about them hanging stuff out
Yeah,
the window.
apparently there was some trolley system and there was an arm, if you go on the back of the building, there was some like arm out there. And that arm was there so they could run blueprints out and hang them out to dry, basically.
Yeah.
Without getting all, breathing on it. Or floor, depending on something inside,
It's hard to believe it was that big of an operation in that little town. Huh? But then,
Well, but you look at the maps of the mines, and there were so many mines. Like, what was it someone was saying? You could walk from, was it Wood to Robertsdale? Yeah, underground. You never come above ground.
yeah.
And apparently, as I heard it, you worked for Stevens Mine, you worked for Roberts Mine, and you did not cross. Yes, Roberts Mine didn't have as much work, Stevens Mine needed some guys, and then it was okay, you could just walk
through and
step over the line, in the mine, and just go work for the other guy for a day. Again, and then another thing I can't recall is just what I've heard. Supposedly, so if you were living in a company house, your husband was a miner, and he died, you had 48 hours to either find another miner to get married, or get out of the house.
Yeah, I heard that too.
You heard that too? Okay, yeah.
You get much time to get out.
No, because they were just costing an asset.
I definitely lived in a better time with regards to stuff like that.
Well, I mean, stuff like that, yeah. Other stuff I wasn't sure.
I don't know, miner's life.
Oh, it was tough. That was tough. And you know what, it was funny.
Go ahead, take us out.
It wasn't until not that many years ago. My boyfriend and I went on the number 9 mine tour. And you go in and they tell you about mining and you see one of the, what do we call it, shaft, one of the veins that was being mined, right? And, they tell us, okay, the guy would be up there with the air hammer up there. His buddy would be down in the ore coal cart, yes, right? And, by the way, they'd be doing all of this in the dark. And then they turn the lights out. You're like, wow. Like, it is dark.
Yeah.
There's nothing. So I can see why the carbide lamps that don't look like anything now would have been plenty when you have no light at all. But it just, for some reason, it was just at that moment that it hit me that there's this guy in this maybe 3 foot by 3 foot shaft with a drill Right.